Dr. Owusu Ochoa is Dr. O for the 804 as the premier knee and hip shoulder sports surgeon in Virginia. I would like to remind you that health equals power. Sports build and uplift communities, nothing else can. The mission of sports medicine is to keep athletes of all ages and levels at the top of their game. Dr. O is located at Ortho, Virginia, Schrader Road office location. Appointments can be scheduled online at orthovirginia.com or by calling 804-939-6688. You can follow Dr. O on Instagram at Dr. O _ for the 804 and uplifting educational content about sports health.
Hi everyone, I'm Coach Rick Stockel. I am co-owner of Newman & Dunn Real Estate here in Central Virginia, as well as I am a high school boys basketball coach at Monacan High School. I've sold over 1,300 homes here in Central Virginia, and I would love to work with you and your family in your home buying needs. I am a proud primary sponsor of Ballin in Virginia, and I hope you enjoy this show.
Welcome to another episode of BallinVA. And man, we are back, and I tell you, we keep rolling in the hits, man, rolling in the hits, as I always say. Today, we have a special guest, man, and I don't even know who say if it's a special guest, man, but we have two special guests, actually, but I will have a legend in the house, and a legend to be soon, Mr. Carter here, Mr. Nicholas Carter.
What's going on?
He has a podcast, the 804 podcast, you could find on YouTube. J1 Day One.
Yeah, J1 Day One.
Yep, on YouTube channel. You can also find him on Instagram. You know, follow him, Nick Carter. And he's been working on this podcast for the great legendary coach of Highland Springs High School. You can go back to Huguenot, Mr. George Lancaster. He is here present with us, which I am honored. Thanks to Nick. They know we was gonna make this happen. But how you guys doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's crazy being on the other side of an interview, honestly.
Yeah, you used to host it.
It's insane, but I'm glad to be here, honestly.
Coach, how you doing, Coach?
My standard answer only because it's true. Better than I deserve. I don't deserve to be here. First, I want to say, congratulations on your efforts.
Thank you.
God bless you in your efforts, but congratulations on them. Change is always good when it's good change. Mm-hmm. And you all about good change. And three of you all here, you all have a mindset that's a little bit different, but a little bit futuristic as well. And that's what the world needs, future. And that's where you have your investment. So shut my mouth. I'll be the player. You can be the coach. And Larry, you be the executive. You be the principal.
Yeah, I guess I'll be that today. I'll go ahead and take ownership of that, man. I appreciate it.
You're the media man, and we couldn't do without you.
Well, we got two of them up here today, so I ain't alone. So he ain't getting off scot-free today. You know, you're a guest, but we're gonna use your brain today, man.
All right.
Nick, man, first of all, I just want to thank you, man. We actually, first I want to give you our backstory. Nick actually had me on his podcast when I first started. Yeah. December 22. It was a cold day that day too, man. I came down to your studio.
It was insane. It was insane.
Yeah. I was still green too. I was still nervous because just trying to get the feel of this whole camera thing and not want to be seen on the camera. You just want to talk, but you don't want to be seen. I said, I could probably do radio. I don't want to be, on camera. But he saw something in me, man. Was like, nah, man, I want to invite you. I was like, man, I ain't even done nothing. I ain't been on for like 6 months or so. It's like, no, man, we like what you're doing. And that just having other people to see what I'm trying to do. And I still remember that day because it was cold. It was so cold that day. Not in your studio, but it was cold outside.
No, it was cold in the studio too.
Yeah, it was cold. Well, I was heavily layered that day. But I just want to thank you and your team for, just having me, man, and putting me where I'm at today. So I got to give you that shout out because people don't know that.
that's genuinely the point, because being from Richmond, we all have to support each other. We're a small city, so we can all relate to some degree of being counted out. So
absolutely, and that's why I keep telling people, man, you just gotta just keep, as the new kids say, Coach, gatekeeping. There's a lot of that be going on around here. We got to kind of stop that, man. But I just want to say, just still, man, let's just keep pushing forward and just love one another, man. Just help one each other out. It's not, don't cost you anything.
That's right.
So we're gonna get right into it, man. So. Man, we got somebody to do a documentary on Coach Lan's life and career, man, and we want to give flowers. We're the flower giving business. Nick, we're into it, man.
So first, I'm gonna say how I came up with the idea.
Okay.
I don't think I told Coach Lancaster this story, but
we got time, man.
I was genuinely at work one day, and I was having one of those days where it's like, okay, something has to change. I need to do something, because my life was feeling a little stale. Mm-hmm. At that moment. I was just going to work, doing the podcast, going to work, doing the podcast, going home. And I was just walking around work one day, and I don't know how Coach Lancaster's name just popped into my head, but it did. I'm sitting there thinking, has anybody done a film on him? And I was I'm sitting there thinking okay, no, nobody's done it. So funny thing, I'm sitting there thinking, okay, the idea of it is just going on in my head, just continually going. So I'm like, all right, I think I can do this. So I called my dad. I said, I'm thinking he's going to tell me, no, don't do it. Don't do it. I called him. He said, Nick, that's a great idea. So I'm like, okay, cool. Call my uncle. He's definitely going to talk me out of it. So I'm like, this is what I'm thinking about doing. He's like, yo, go for it. That's a great idea. So I'm like, okay. My dad said, and my uncle said, I still don't believe him. I'm like, I'll call my cousin. I think he's going to talk me out. I know my cousin might talk me out of it. And it's like, nah, Nick, just go for it. So it's funny, after that, I call my mom. I tell her, this is what I'm thinking about doing. And she said, yo, that's a good idea. And she's like, well, how are you going to do it? I was like, okay, I think that's the answer I was looking for. How am I going to do it? So I get home, and shout out Coach Puka. I know he's well connected in the Coach
shout out to Coach Puka.
And I call him and I say, Coach, this is what I'm thinking about doing. And Coach is all about supporting the community. And he's like, Nick, that is a great idea. That is a great idea. And so I say, how can I get in touch with him? And he said, let me look into some things. Let me, call some people and see if I can get his number. So I say about a week and a half went by, 2 weeks, and I hadn't heard anything from him. So I'm like, okay, this is, maybe he forgot. So I'm getting ready to text him. And he says, sorry, Nick, as I'm getting ready to text him, he actually instantly texted me back. He said, sorry, Nick, I've been dealing with some family issues. And he just sends me Coach Lancaster's number. This is the time he told you to call him. And so I get the call. So I get his number. And, I'm like, oh my God, I'm about to be on the phone with Coach Lancaster. Because it's if you know Coach Lancaster, he is a legend. I know Coach Lancaster, because I know about Coach Lancaster because I used to watch him on the sideline. Mm-hmm. Mind you, I didn't play basketball. I was one of the few 80 people, looking for a spot on the team. I was first day cuts.
Yeah, I can relate, bro.
So it was, so that's how it went. And Coach Lancaster, he was honored. I felt like I could hear in his voice when I was talking to him, I don't know if I deserve, a documentary, but it's no, you do deserve a documentary. So it's funny because we didn't go right into recording the film. I want to meet you first. And do you remember that day?
I do.
And we went to Mama J's, and we didn't go right into talking about.
Shout out to Mama J's.
Yeah, shout out to Mama J's. We didn't go right into, talking about the film. We just talked about, who I am, who he is, and about each other. And then I told him about the idea. I still thought that he didn't want to do the film at some point, but I think, me just being me kind of convinced him in some way. So that's pretty much about how the idea. I know I said a lot.
No, we need to know.
Yeah.
Because I tell you, I was coming from Northern Virginia when I got the call from Coach Boom from Verona, and he said they're doing a documentary on Coach Land. I was like, huh? Like, who doing that? And then he said, I don't know him. He says some guy, he went to LC Bird or something like that. I was like, LC Bird? I was like, well, how?
I went to Verona.
Oh, you went to Verona?
I went to Verona about it.
Okay, all right.
Now, the dudes I do the podcast with, they went to LC Bird,
Okay.
but I went to Verona.
Okay, we make sure correct that. So that's what I got. We was talking. I was just like, he said, well, don't say nothing about it because people don't, he don't want nobody to know. I said, okay. I said, well, I guess we'll see it. And this was 2022.
Yeah,
I remember I was like, okay.
It took a minute.
It took a minute. And he said, well, I had to do a spot for it. I think you called him, he had to do something for it. I was like, oh, for real? I was like, oh, this thing will be good, And here we are, man. I was like, I said, I'll call you up periodically. It was like, hey, man, I don't even know, how did we got connected? Did we speak before the podcast?
I think we spoke periodically after the podcast.
Okay, after the podcast.
Because I think when you found out about the documentary, that's when we really started connecting. And honestly, I got to thank you a lot because there were times where I was like, I just got to call Lee and get this off my chest. Mm-hmm. I got to get him to talk me off the cliff or because there were a lot of frustrating moments. I'm not gonna lie, but it was times where I would call you and he's like, I'm thinking, okay, Lee not gonna pick up, and he's like, I know he tired. I'm like, nah, man, yo, tell me what's going on. So I got to thank you for that a lot.
Oh man, we gotta help each other out, man.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I was just trying to give you phone numbers to people who I wanted to hear from, but because as like you, I'm in the stands. I didn't play basketball. I wanted to, couldn't make the team. Guys were just they way better than me. But being at JFK, and just watching those battles of his teams and just going to those games, that's when we had, I think the JV games was at 4, the girls was at 6, and then the guys was at 7:30. That's what them days we had all the package at one time. And I just said, no, man, no, you can find this person. Did you call Rod Willard? Did you call Ed Perry? Did you call this person? Did you call this person? Hell, matter of fact, here goes some rivals. Did you call Tony Saunders? Did you call Calvin Jackson? Hey, did you call the guys over there at Armstrong? Hey, did you call the guys at Verona? And you was like, huh?
Yeah, because I didn't know who to get at first, but it was like once I started getting the numbers and stuff like that, it's all started to come to, because I'm 28.
Right.
I wasn't.
No, you weren't around, man.
I wasn't.
You weren't around, yeah. But that's what we needed to do because it wouldn't have been, in my eyes, I felt like you got to have the right people.
Yeah.
And I don't know how often, Coach, how often you talk to these guys, your former players, but if you're going to do a documentary and you see these young men that you coached, and just and the people you coached against, the coaches, and then the players you had your game playing for, the Noonie Rose and some of those guys, Sean Pettifords, and I'm speaking to the Capital District guys. It could be a whole lot of guys. Forget it. And don't hold me to the guys that ain't called your name, because we got me say my name. Come on, man. We got some greats, the Kendrick Warrens, just guys, man. We can just go on for days. I just felt like, hey, call these guys, and maybe these guys you talk to them and they can call some numbers to some other guys. But the thing that I told him was two people, one person beside myself that I respected, was Tyree Evans, George Wilf, because he said, you wanted Tyree to be in, and Tyree said, I can't do that because I never played against Alice Springs.
Yeah.
Most guys just want to jump in it. He asked me to be a part of it. I told him, I said, "There's no way that I could be in it. I'm a fan."
Because I needed the fan, and you knew a lot about. So I was like, okay,
I don't think I'm qualified. I'm like, Coach, I don't think I'm qualified.
It's funny, Coach, because I kept asking. He was like, "No, man, no," and I was like, "Lee."
No, you get Coach JB. I want to coach Atkins, rest in peace, because I remember coaching with Coach Atkins with her, and I remember she used to always say, "Hey, I'm gonna go fix Coach Lance something to eat. Him and his wife, I'm gonna take it on over there, to him." I was like, okay, cool, So I learned a lot of things from her. She's my mentor. I learned a lot of things from that lady, and it wasn't for me, I wouldn't have got my first opportunity to be able to coach. And I knew coaching with her, I ain't want to coach.
Well, she was a great coach.
Yes.
And she instilled discipline. She instilled fundamentals, and she instilled teamwork. All her girls played hard. They played together. They did what she said, and they had a ball.
Yes.
And that's the idea of life. Like you, I'm listening to you guys talking, and I'm honored for several reasons, but historically, really, it's an honor because nobody's ever done anything. I'm really working on a guy named Benny Dix. You never heard of him, but he played for North Carolina Central, and he played in the game against Duke. He ended up coaching in my area in Gretna. Just ended up being the principal and superintendent. It just was a great guy that nobody knows about. Hopefully somebody will reach out to you, or you'll reach out to them, or people will come forward. Communication is the greatest of all the love affairs. Just loving to talk with someone, learning to learn from other people. And oftentimes we are too selfish with our talents. Most people want to win, but winning takes care of itself. The other things that go into time goes into winning. And you got to spend time. You got to have talent. You used to always say, "What is this play?" And I said, tricky plays don't win any games. Tricky players win games. You got to have them, and then you can expose them to experiences where they probably would not have gotten had they not been with you or been in some situation. So, man, I'm listening to you guys. I'm in the past. You guys in the present. And those who are going to hear you and read about these things, they're in the future. So you really, you're using a GPS to get to the future. And the future of these young people who will have a wealth of talent, and those things that they are lacking, maybe you can be that babysitter a little bit, maybe you can be that little advisor, maybe be that little teacher, maybe you just say something that'll inspire them. Everybody who's been everybody who does everything, and you've had your own experiences, and you use those experiences to enlighten others. Teaching, I was actually a psychology major at college and met a guy who was teaching phys ed, and he said, "Man, you would have been a good physical education teacher. What are you gonna do with psychology? You got to get a master's." So I was like, go back to school. So, long story short, I stopped and left class and went to the gym and became a physical education major. That probably was the best move that I've ever made in my life. Best move. Other moves have come because of that move. Other people who say, "Coach, I love playing with you and playing with him and playing with him, and it made me who I am." So what we are doing there is just making others better than they deserve. If that's a quote that can be used. But I'm going to shut my mouth up, and which is very difficult for me. But if you have some questions, that you'd like to ask, or someone would want to have answered, or?
Yeah, we gonna kind of cover all of that.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask Nick, during this process, what did you learn about Coach Lancaster that you didn't know? Like, name some things that.
It's funny because going to Verona, and even before Verona, I would see Coach Lancaster just on the sideline, just yelling at refs. So I was like, oh my God, is he like, what's he gonna tell me if I, if he don't like this film, or he didn't want to do it? So I'm like, but I didn't know Coach Lancaster knew pretty much everybody. When I tell you everybody, I mean, like, we were filming, and Alex is like the shorter, dark skin podcast. And he said, he had an aunt out in Mecklenburg County.
Oh my God.
And Coach Lancaster just knew exactly who he was talking to. I'm sitting there thinking, like, what?
Yeah.
How did you know that?
Right.
And it's funny also because how he knows everybody's birthday. He never forgets people's birthday. I didn't know that. I don't know. He's the only person I know that.
Yeah, I can't say I can.
I don't know everybody's birthday.
I don't either.
So that's. And
this gotta, not to cut you off, but there's something wrong with this right here. Those numbers. But it's a category that you put people in. There's something to be said for every philosophy. I mean, it could be astrology, it could be religion, it could be anything that you think needs to be investigated as interesting to you. And then you associate those things, and there's a wealth of plenty out there with people thinking like you think, or complimenting you in some way. You may not be just like that person, but that person is your friend because that person compliments you. You compliment that person. You learn from each other. So, and that's what sports is all about. The experiences that you have in sports tell you a lot. How you deal with disappointments, how you deal humbly with victory, how you deal with direction, how you follow your mind. And if you respect people and you're going in a direction in which you don't really feel comfortable, someone who respects you or likes you is going to say, have you thought about that? You need to think about that again on a positive note or a negative note. So those little things like that, I'm just so glad I got into education and coaching 57 years on various levels and, different sports, golf, football, track and field, girls basketball, boys basketball. I enjoyed football probably as much as any other sport,
Me too.
It's just more people that you're dealing with. I was a head baseball coach at Huguenot for 2 years. No, 1 year, and the assistant 2 years before that. And I didn't really know all of the integral parts of positioning in baseball as to who's pitching and who's hitting. So it shows you where's the ball in basketball. If the ball's over there, where's the player? And it's all about ankles anyway. Every sport is about ankles, flat ankles. I mean, dropping to the ball line and everything is systematic in basketball as it is in football, as it is in baseball. And probably the purest of sports is probably track and field and soccer, even though soccer has their elements of strategy. But
yeah, see,
I've had so much experience with so many different people. Dave Robbins, Frank Threets, Guy Davis, my high school coach, a guy named Hank Allen, who was the first African-American teacher at UVA. And he coached in my district, and I always sat by my coach, Lewis Marshall, as we drove to Roanoke to play in Lynchburg, and to South Boston and Halifax and Gretna and Carolina, wherever we played football, basketball, baseball, I'd always sit with him, and I had the opportunity and the honor to utilize him at his funeral, and he and I were very good friends. He was 21 years older than I, and I was one of his sons. Just on a personal thing, what you learn through sports. Learned about Mr. Carter's grandfather. I actually played against his grandfather.
See?
In Buckingham.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I think I struck him too as a defensive back. No, just kidding.
Coach, today, man, it's just every time we see you, man, you always at the games. You just always out, and even people that you don't know, you try, like you said, you ask a couple questions, like you said, Nick, he gonna know somebody that you know, and it's just like, wow. And we just appreciate you just still being around the game, because we need that. Again, like I said earlier off air, you had Coach Riley Axel here, and I know you know about his families and everything like that, and he said you called him and let him know, congratulating him on state championship. People just don't do that nowadays. And he said he really appreciated it, getting a call from you.
I had the number, I put it that way.
What's going on?
So we got to ask you, man, some questions, in regards to that. What did you learn about Coach Land's community when completing this documentary?
Just how big it was. Like, Coach Lancaster, he, again, knows everybody. And it's just how many people genuinely love this man.
Mm-hmm.
And, sometimes you hear, yeah, I love you. But you when you hear sometimes, from people, it's like, doesn't seem genuine. But how many people, like, actually would just run through a brick wall for him. Mm-hmm. It's like, and in knowing him, I've only known him personally for like 3 years since and I feel that way. Like, I don't think people understand. I didn't do this film for any type of compensation, thank you, or, it's like, okay, I'll take it, but, oh man, go thank him. Go thank Coach Lancaster. That is genuinely what this film is about. Go shake his hand. Go tell him thank you. Go tell him I love you as many times as possible. And honestly, it should be 2 or 3 more documentaries on that man. Honestly, because for one, I didn't get everybody, and 2, he deserves it. He genuinely deserves it. So I probably went off script with the question.
No. We need that. This is good.
That's just how I feel. And when I kept filming people, it's crazy because I didn't want to stop filming people. It's like, okay, who else can I possibly get? And that's, even while I was in the editing process, like, okay, a couple more people can be in this. I didn't want to stop editing. I didn't want to stop filming because I know how many people love Coach Lancaster, honestly.
Man, I'm telling you, how many, I guess, did you get any sleep? Did you lose a lot of sleep doing this stuff, man? I mean, say for instance, if your day started at 6 a.m., what would be a typical day?
So, I'll say this. There was a point in time where I had to get a whole new computer so I was first editing on a MacBook, and I had to get a software called Final Cut Pro. Now, I don't know if you know about MacBooks, but they don't have the best space.
Okay.
They do not hold the best space. So I actually, and this is the first time, I've only told this story to my uncle. I had to go in and just completely scrap the film. It was supposed to be ready sometime last year, but I couldn't edit anymore because there was no more space on the computer. So it was about 65% done. And I was like, come on, you can't, don't do this to me now. because I couldn't put any more footage on the computer. And it was like, all right. So I'm trying to weigh my options. All right, what am I going to do? I was like, you know what? It's going to be a tough decision, but I had to do it. I had to do it. And it was difficult because I know how badly people wanted it out. Like,
yes,
then.
They wanted it out yesterday.
And it was like, I'm sorry, y'all. And then again, I didn't really like what I was trying to edit. And it needed something more.
Okay.
It needed something more. But to answer your question, because I know, again, I went typical day. So I'd get up sometimes 7 o'clock, depending on if I'm not working. I would get up, go edit a little bit for about 4 or 5 hours. Take a moment, get away from the computer, go do. I like tennis, so where I live is like 10, 15-minute walk to the tennis court. I'd go do that. I'd go play for a little bit. This is the summertime. Then I'd come back, edit a little bit more, take a nap or something. Then I'd go eat. I had long days. I mean, recently when I was trying to finish the film, I was actually trying to, get it ready. I was up from 9 o'clock to like 4 or 5 in the morning. And I mean, of course, those were days still like a year or so ago, but I was trying to finish. Like, I was literally like, no, I have to get this done. And when I finally got it done, it was some type of gratification I got. So I appreciated, like I told you, I appreciated the editing process. Like, I appreciate the frustration. I appreciate the having to scrap everything, because it was something about me. And I tell Coach Lancaster this all the time. I'm a perfectionist.
Yes.
I wanted the best product out there for the people. That's why I had to do what I had to do. So that's what.
Well, he is a perfectionist, as you know. And most people who are successful or who are reliable people are perfectionists. They work on it till they get it right, till they're satisfied with it. And they have keen eyes. Other people who don't,
They're looking for
a shortcut and a flash in the pan. And Mr. Carter, that's the first thing that I was talking about, us having lunch together. The first thing that I admired about him was the waitress came and it was, yes, ma'am.
Yep. Very respectful.
Yeah, very respectful. And then he doesn't know that I know this. But when someone else is paying for your meal, you tend not to want to order the most.
Right.
So at the end, I said, why don't we get this to carry with us? And he was so appreciative. And his heart is genuine. Your best athletes, your best people, your best relationships, be it marriage with a wedding band or one without, come from good people who are mixing together. They complimenting each other. One may carry the bag for 2 miles, and the other one may carry it for 3, but that's a compliment. We're getting the thing done. And that's how I felt that Mr. Carter was. And just getting it done, staying on it, making a little change here and there. And as a coach, that's what you do. You tweak the offense. You tweak the defense. And a special player coming around, you make him feel uncomfortable. You use what you have to, and it's just admirable. And after the game is over, you can feel good about, winning or not winning if that happens. So, but I'm not saying he taught me something that I knew, and I'll say this because I've said this to people younger than me. You may not be able to teach me anything, but you can refresh my memory. Just refresh my memory. And if I've heard it, then I'll tell somebody else, and you tell somebody else. And Reggie Tennyson, who is the coach at really coached him, and I actually was his JV football coach. But you cannot. But he would always say things like, everybody say I'm just like you, and I'm not just like you. I said, no, you're not. You're actually better than I am, because you have the experience of being with me, learning and then you branch off. Like and I hate to say my, but kids and grandkids and great-grandkids have a distinct advantage of those. Like where I came from, with my father not being there. When your family is generational on some level, it makes that next generation even a higher plane, if that makes any sense what I'm saying. And the same thing with sports, or the same thing with character, or the same thing with academics. It's your best academic students are the ones that are interested in what the academic is. It's not being a doctor or lawyer or anything. It's being what you are, being the best of what you are, to be happy in life and to be satisfied and to be, of course, the chosen one. So you guys are the chosen ones. Yeah, you are. You are. And you should feel that way. I mean, it's an honor to be chosen. And it makes you work hard. It makes you not as anal as some people, but a perfectionist. And that's really one that I like. You want a 99, 44, 100% as pure of life as you can. And it takes sacrifice, it takes time, failure, success. Sometimes you have to move away from bad company to get where you really need to be. And if somebody they want the best for you, they will let you go. If they won't, then you have to move. It just happens that way. So
see, man, I can't come behind that one. But that was some jewels. That was some jewels. Dick, how long is a documentary? Like hours, time, and
I say it's about 50 or so minutes. I'm thinking, well, with the film festival, I don't know how long she Britney might put it out there for, which is fine. I know it's time constraints with something like that, so it's nothing personal.
So it's under an hour.
Yeah, it's under an hour. I'm actually going back, adding something else into the film, because I might do my own showcase and show it to everybody. But it's about 50 or so minutes. Because if I put every bit of footage in there, it'd probably be over 2 hours. Honestly,
hey, we wouldn't mind that at all.
So,
we wouldn't mind that at all. So was that your goal to kind of keep it?
My goal was to, because I don't know if people would have wanted to watch 2 hours. That's just my personal thinking. I didn't.
And you can always, if they want more, you could.
Yeah, I can put more out there.
Right.
I have, and I may put a few clips on the Instagram page. It's like, hey, this is some of the stuff that didn't get put in the film, which is what I plan on doing. Anyway, so this is some of the scenes that didn't get made in there. This is some uncut footage, and I want to put the best product out there possible. This was, like I told you, I didn't do it for no money. I did not do this I would do my own showcase. I wasn't going to sell tickets. Like, yo, just come watch this. Come watch this film, honestly, because this man deserves it. He does. If there's any coach out there that deserves all the flowers in the world, it's Coach Lancaster.
I don't think about it. You're not going to get no disagreement over here. No coach can feel a different way.
Yeah.
I mean, he can probably say some other people, but again, it's about giving you your flowers. We can go, and there's a lot of coaches there. We can say football, basketball, whatever there is around here in the state of Virginia that deserve to have a documentary. But hey, you know, I'm just glad you did it, and we can sit here and talk about it with Coach Land. You know, because a lot of times, you know, people, you know, do documentaries and, you know, they're not here to talk about it. Like I said, I went to Boo Williams and watched that 2 years ago. And somebody did a documentary and a big whole special on him. And I was like, I appreciated that, you know, just to see some stuff. And I think they're coming out with a part 2. Actually, it is a part 2 coming out. So that should be coming out soon. He said he had to go back and do some other stuff, and plus the footage that he already had. So, hey, man, I'm good.
Chime in on, I can't think of his name that did the thing on Boo.
Daryl Tote.
Daryl.
Yep.
A wonderful guy. And Boo Williams, I think if you had to have a statue of one person who's done more for young people, and particularly in that area, Boo Williams. And Boo Williams is known nationally, all worldwide, because he's invested his time, his energies, his money, his contacts into that. His gym is just wonderful. But he started out outdoors.
Yep.
You know, outdoors, man.
Going door to door.
No, that's right.
Him,
that's
you
right.
got Tony Squires, another guy.
Tony Squires,
You know.
who Huguenot graduate and played on the JV. I think I left before the varsity was to come up with him, but he's just done so much for the
Man, yes.
and the things that he says to youth, which sometimes kids will listen to the coach before they listen to their mother or father. And he will say things as Darrell Watts does, or Bert Armstrong, as many of the coaches, Troy Mans.
Shout out to Mans. Shout out to Coach Watts.
Yes, yes. I mean, these people have stood in the gap historically, and for Mr. Carter to do a documentary, I'm hoping that it will catch on and we seize the moment of its existence before you have time come that there will be nobody else to tell the story. And that happens oftentimes. Family reunions, and you don't have those family reunions anymore because somebody there to tell the story.
Somebody tell the story.
Things need to be documented, and you guys in the media, man. So you know, I love vision, man. I love it.
You see it now with Coach Ty White. You know,
That's right.
Coach Ty White, the things that he's doing.
Yeah.
What do you think about his move to Petersburg?
Going back home.
Yeah, going back home.
Well, they say when mama calls, all good sons go back home when mama calls. And Ty, he and I talked several times, and we talked. I sent him a congratulatory, and I talked to Bill Lawson, his agent.
Oh yeah, man. That's another one.
Yeah, man.
Man.
And Massenburg is gone from Petersburg to Prince George. And hey, man, it's just, hey, the tie that binds. We all loving each other. Ty White, to me, is the new age basketball. Just like college used to have. You go, you get the scholarship, man. You didn't even have a tutor in college. You couldn't even get lunch money in college. You couldn't get a trip home. Ty White has come at the same time that, what's it, INL or ANLI?
NIL.
Yeah. And kids in college need to be paid.
Yeah.
They need to be paid. Right. And I mean that. And I say that vehemently so that anybody who doubts that college it's a full-time job, ask them get a job and try to do two of them, like Mr. Carter. You need to be You need to be paid. You need to be. They need to be paid, and I don't know how they're gonna do it eventually, but my shout out is to Coach White and Bill and all of those guys who
Yes,
dedicated their lives.
I feel rejuvenated. It's like we got something to look forward to now. Like everybody asks, the 757 guys always ask, man, when that Petersburg coming back, man? Because all those battles, with you and I mean, just those were the days, man. And so that the fact that Coach White is going back home, man, and they doing some renovations to the school, and then Coach Lawson's still there, man. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. People gave him a hard time, at John Marshall and how he does things, and I'm Coach.
Well, when you look at it from a religious standpoint, I mean, the greatest human being ever, was supposed to be Jesus Christ, and they nail him to the cross. People are jealous of each other. They don't want to share. They start conversations with I, in it with me, and they may pat you in the back, and they may say, I'm blessed, and as if they are and you're not. We should all be blessings to each other. We should help each other. Respect each other, love each other. Just give of ourselves, and don't get me started. My mother wanted me to be a preacher, by the way. And she heard me using some sort of language that I shouldn't have been using at the basketball coach. I think I was 10. She called me and she said, one sure thing, I apologize. She said, one sure thing, you ain't going to be no preacher. You got a foul mouth. And I apologize to so many people for that. Sometimes I use an excuse to get my point over, speaking a language that they understood. But if I had any regret into coaching in particular, it's something that I may have said to an official or somebody else, or any dissenter. I apologize. Amen. In the subject.
So Nick, when is the release date?
June 28th.
June
28th. It's going to be at the Phoenix Solstice Film Festival. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to find some more dates and stuff so I could release it, on my own, have my own showcase. So, stay tuned. Stay tuned. And
shout out to our new sponsor, Garrett and Rufty. Great guy, team of skilled craftsmen, make your life easier. They'll do it right. Check out their website in the description of the show. We have another guest that has arrived that's in the background of putting this thing together. We want people to actually see what's going on. Miss Britney Tennyson.
Yes.
And if you're familiar with the Tennyson name, she's the daughter of Coach Reggie Tennyson of the Highland Springs High School Boys Basketball Springers in the East End. Got to put that East End on that. How you doing, Brittany?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Good. I'm good. Look, I'm getting to meet you for the first time, and we need you to talk about this film festival that you're helping put together.
Okay.
I'm putting you on the spot right off the bat.
Okay.
Did I need to give you a little bit more time?
No, it's fine. So basically, I've been pursuing different things within the film industry as an actress, writer, director, and so I took some time. I stepped away from just my pursuits to develop and grow professionally. Try to complete my master's at Virginia State in psychology. So I took some time to just, work my, work into my career path. Sorry. And so I was just like, you know what? It's all well and good that I'm doing these things to grow as a professional in the workforce, but I don't ever want to be in a place where I'm too far away from the film industry.
Okay.
Too far away from, just my creative pursuits, right? I love film. I don't want to just throw away all of what I did. So I was doing this for about 10 years, right? I was pursuing it for about 10 years, and it was just like, you know what? Did I do all of that for nothing, right? And so I was just saying, you know what? It's time to take a pivot. The pandemic really shook the film industry up, and we were kind of disconnected. We weren't in person, and so there was a lot of self-tape for acting and what have you. But not to go too deep into it.
This is what this platform.
Right. So there was like a lot of, just a lot of disconnect. So I was just like, you know what, maybe I should take a pivot and use this as an opportunity to just take advantage of how uncertain the industry is. Right. And so I was just like, you know what, a good way for me to just pivot is to acknowledge the tradition within the industry of film festival and gathering and community, the sense of community that film festivals that they bring to, artists and directors. It's just an opportunity for us to commune and network and build and just bridge building, right? Bridge building. So I was just like, you know what? I'm not even going to try to do this anywhere other than Richmond, right? Okay. My community. Because if I want to build a sense of community, I want to start at home, right? We have so many talented people here. We have so many talented athletes. We have legends within our community that need to be acknowledged. And we have people making films about legends within our community. And it's just like, it came together so organically. I wasn't seeking anything out. It just happened like that. And so this particular festival is my very first one.
Okay. It's
very special to me because we're celebrating the legacy of Coach George Lancaster. And we're celebrating the legacy of, we have a biopic of someone who's from Virginia. And then it turned into an international festival. I thought it was going to start urban, right? I thought it was just going to be, because it's in Richmond, it's going to be urban filmmakers submitting their films and, but it had submissions from all over the world, not just Richmond, not just Virginia, not just the US, but submissions from all over the world.
Wow.
So there are filmmakers from the UK, filmmakers from Iran, filmmakers from, it's UK, Iran, and Ukraine. And then, of course, we have people from home, people from this area. So it became an international film festival. And I think that in the grand scheme of things, the larger part of it is that it's not just about community here, but it's community abroad. So it's an opportunity for my community to bridge, build, and build community globally, right? And it can grow into something. It's evolving. And this is my very first one. So I'm really excited to see what it evolves into.
I can't wait. I can't wait. We have to support this. Give us the dates and times.
Okay, it'll be June 28th. Mm-hmm. We're going to have kind of like a red carpet walk at 5 p.m.
Okay.
And we'll be, during that time, we'll be showing some of the short films. And then I think later in the evening, we'll have the feature films that we'll be showing, and then there'll be a closing ceremony. So, yeah.
And where would this take place at? Where?
It's going to be at the Robinson Community Theater. That's
going to be real.
And so I was really glad that I got that venue, because the Robinson Theater is a staple within our community. It's so historic. It's in an historic area. And so I just think that adds just an additional element to make this just a very special thing for Richmond and for Virginia.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect. And we got this man that's been working on this thing. And how did you two come apart? You, Nick, and yourself. Did you reach out to Nick, or Nick reach out to you?
Yeah. So I knew about Nick when he was making the documentary a few years back because of Coach Lan. And so you know, I wasn't even looking in his direction, right? I was looking more so for, you know, filmmakers that were making, you know, short films, feature films. I didn't think of documentaries, right? And then, you know how Instagram, you know, the algorithm reads your mind.
Yeah, it does.
It really does. It reads your mind. And then his page for the documentary showed up in my list of people to follow. Right? And so I was just like, you know what? I remember this documentary.
Wow.
And so I DM'd him as soon as I saw that. I was just like, I believe in divine timing. I was just like, this is such divine timing. Like, what better time to introduce this documentary to our community than now? I didn't even think of it. I was just like, I didn't even think of it when I started the festival. Right. So it's just, I believe in divine timing. So
this is dope. And then, of course, you have a connection because your father played and was an assistant coach under this man. What does Coach Lancaster means to you, per se?
Coach Lan means everything to me. And I was telling Nick this, and I was just like, thank you so much for making this documentary because this man helped raise my father. My father wouldn't be the man that he is today if it were not for Coach George Lancaster. So I was just like, I have a personal vested interest into this project. It's not just, you know, a clout thing. I want to celebrate the man who helped raise my father. And what better way to do that?
I agree. Coach, what you got to say, Coach? I know you sitting there, you might be in tears in a few minutes, Coach.
You know, I'll cry with the drop of a hat. Britney is the middle child of my son, Reggie. And I've had a lot of sons. I'm biological, you know, and he's as close to me as any good friend. Mm-hmm. And Britney used the word timing, and timing is everything.
Yes.
I had Reggie and her uncle, Babra, and later on Anthony, that whole family. And I had gone to Highland Springs. This is going to be a quick, but it's going to take me time to set the stage for Britney. I had a parents meeting, and one of the parents that I wanted to have a meeting with were the Tennysons. Mm-hmm. I got to there and I said, I'm going to Highland Springs, and I would love for some of the Huguenot guys who know me and know what I'm thinking to, if they could at all possible, move to Highland Springs.
That's a big jump.
Yeah. Well, 3 families did that. The Tennysons, Ricky Stokes, who played at Virginia, and another family, and others wanted to come. I remember I told her, I said, we're going to do really well there. Her grandmother, Miss Shirley Tennyson, whose birthday was September
that's that part.
12th.
You just talked about that, right?
Well, she liked everything perfect. And so she said, well, I don't care about winning. I care about how you taking care of my son. Mm-hmm. And it spoke for the whole community with people. Most people want somebody to take care of their kid while they are in school. And that was my when he came, they moved. Stokes moved, and another family moved, and it showed me how chosen I was to do what I did. I introduced, well, I didn't introduce him, but coming to Highland Springs, that's where Britney's dad met his mom.
He talked about that on the podcast.
Yeah. I mean, it was like, that family, the succession from George Lancaster to Reggie Tennyson was a birthright. It was already chosen. It had nothing to do with me, nor did it have anything to do with Reggie, really. my young son was the ring bearer for her mother and father's wedding.
Wow.
I mean, it was already ordained, and that's what we do. I had an opportunity to go back home 10 years ago to live, and of course I stay here 60% of the time. But anyway, when you can come back home, and Brittany, congratulations for coming back home from California and bringing those experiences that you had in California, bring them here to a native state like Virginia. You may not be the chosen one per se, but you're certainly the princess of what you know. And bless you with that. Mr. Carter, I always say he's a chosen one. He's a guy who I never even knew, who saw something in me that he wanted to share with people. And that's what this is all about. It's the history. It's a family reunion, so to speak, that's going to be documented. And Larry, of course, is in a media and that up and coming, up and growing. You all know the best entertainment that I've ever had is by way of the media, audio, visual. It's wonderful. It's just wonderful to be a part of it and to be amongst young people like yourselves that, you know, hey, coach, pass the ball. You got it. You got it.
Yeah, they got it.
You got it.
I'm old now.
No, you're young.
This is a young person's game, is what I tell them.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Well, you know where I look at movies. Well, I like to go to movies, but Linda doesn't want me to go with it because I get bored. But in a movie back in the day, there was an old man who took the tickets up at the movie. You don't remember this.
No,
There were old people. They would sell the tickets, take up tickets. There were young kids who cleaned up the movie, and they stayed within the movie range for all of their lives. And that's what you do with generational. You start with your family, and you work your way up, and then that one starts with your family and friends, and that your extended family and friends, and that's how life is. That's how it gets better. With people taking the ball, taking the pen, taking the mic, taking the brains, the theatrical part of life. And life is about theatrics. You better play your role right in life. You better choose and play that thing. And you're not going to be always... Everybody's not going to smile upon you. That's just the way life is. It could be your mama, daddy, sister, brother. They don't have to. You do what you do, and you believe in what's right and do it right. It'll come to pass.
I agree. I definitely agree with that. You got to follow up to that, Nick.
I want to say something about Britney real quick.
Okay.
And me and Britney have had a lot of conversations, but I don't think I've ever told Britney how genuinely proud I am of what she's doing.
Okay.
I think it's being in the media for as long as I have. It's hard starting something up from the ground.
Yeah.
So, and by yourself at that. So, I am extremely not only proud but grateful of, this opportunity. And I really do appreciate the person that you are.
Thank you.
So, that's something that has been, on my heart for a while.
That's really sweet. And we were talking when I first saw the documentary. We were talking about how I did this because I appreciate the process of making a film, right? I appreciate the independent filmmaker, right? And And I just want this to be an opportunity for independent filmmakers to have their opportunity to shine, because I learned the process. That's something that I learned. And a lot of times, you know, films and projects go unnoticed, right? But I appreciate the fact that, you know, you saw a story, and I appreciate the fact that you persevered. It took you some time to complete it, but you persevered and you completed it. And that in itself deserves celebration, right? So, you know, thank you. I appreciate that.
Hey, see, we making some ties over here at
Yeah.
BallinVA, man. This is beautiful. This is an interesting day.
All right. So Coach Lan, he was speaking about the experiences that I had in California.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go too deep into.
Okay.
But as you can imagine, you know, 20, like early 20 something, going to across the country with $1,000, you know what I mean? Literally $1,000 cash and a plane ticket, right? One of my friends from college paid for my plane ticket.
Wow.
To get to Los Angeles, right? I was so broke. And my dad jokes all the time to call me the broke Halle Berry. Right?
Yeah, we gonna have to talk
I think
about
now
that.
I might be the broke Tyler Perry. Like, I'm changing.
Hey, that's all right. It's all good. Either way, the names is good.
Right. So, just being a starving artist, I appreciate the journey. There are some hard knocks that I had to learn that come with life, right? So I grew up. I grew up there. And I became very independent, and I'll say that that's kind of how I started to resonate with the Phoenix.
Okay.
Because there was a lot of reinvention and rebirth after the fire, right? Rising up from the ashes. And it was like a cyclical thing. That's kind of how I started to resonate with the Phoenix. And then this is another cycle. So I don't know if you know about the mythological Phoenix.
No, that's what I was gonna.
Right. So the Phoenix, the Phoenix, like the eagle, right? You know that the eagle goes into the mountains after 40 years and they have to make a decision whether or not they want to like break their beak off and die, or if they want to live another life after 40 years. Okay. The Phoenix is just like that, except for it's a mythological creature.
Okay.
And so the Phoenix has to decide if they're going to, you know, be born again, basically, or if they're going to just perish. And that sounds drastic.
No.
But the Phoenix always sets herself on fire and then rises from the ashes and starts a new life. And pivots. That's kind of the term that I used. I'm pivoting, right? And the Phoenix lives forever. So I'm kind of trying to create something that will continue, right? And persevere even after I'm gone, right? So
I like that.
the concept, it doesn't necessarily have to be the festival, but
Right.
just the concept of community, celebrating people's achievements, bridge building, expanding globally, reaching across to your neighbor. You know what I mean? And being open to divine timing, being open to just people that you wouldn't necessarily talk to, right? You know, just that, and allowing that to kind of reshape your journey and not having tunnel vision for one particular outcome. Because with acting, you have to kind of have a one-track mind. And that's what they teach you in the trainings, right? You have to have a one-track mind, and everything is going into your craft, and it's building you and making you a better actor, which is great. But the rebirth is about surrendering to God and trusting the process, to me. And so that's why I chose the Phoenix. And then solstice is another element to it. It's happening during the summer solstice. And I think that that's another symbol of resurrection and rebirth and luminosity, right? Illuminating the earth with good things, God's love. You know what I mean? So Phoenix Solstice is very powerful. And a lot of the projects that are being showcased, they have stories. Everyone has their own unique Phoenix story.
Okay.
Right? So with Coach Lan, his, not to tell too much about the documentary, but it's basically his rise to be a state championship coach. Right? Think about the things that he went through, right, to get to that, to build that, right? That's a Phoenix story, rising and, overcoming challenges. And so the beauty of it being an international film festival is that we get to see experiences of people from all around the globe with their Phoenix story. And it goes to show you that we're so different, but we're very much the same. So there are different cultures being represented, and it might not be an exact formula, right, for each film, but it shows you how that main character overcame an obstacle.
Okay.
Right. And so I thought it was really cool how, the films that were submitted stuck to the theme. And I really appreciate that. They respected, they respected the terms and conditions or what the theme of the festival was. And yeah, so in addition to that, their films have Phoenix stories, right? But then outside, the filmmakers had their own Phoenix stories. And so it goes back to, respecting the independent filmmaker. So a few of the projects, they have, and not to get too political, because this is it's not a political thing. It's an opportunity for filmmakers to express themselves. And if there is a political statement they want to make, they have the space in the room to do that, right? Okay. To inform us of what's going on and say how they feel. But not to speak too much on what's happening in the world, but it's obvious, right? There are certain restrictions and laws and, political things that have prevented them from even attending or, even attending the festival, right? And I'm not going to go too deep into it, but they still persevered and said, hey, even though we have these conditions happening, we still want to be a part of it, and we still want to share our story, and we still want to have some kind of community within your festival. So I thought that was really cool.
Oh, I like that. Man, this is dope. Like I said, for anybody who wants to be a part of this and wants to come see this, how can do they need to reach out to you? What can they buy tickets? Or I would just say, how can they reach out to you?
Reach out to me. So they can visit the website.
Okay.
And the website is www.Phoenix.
Now we're gonna put that on the screen. We're gonna put that on the screen.
The Phoenix Solstice Film Festival.com. It's on there. And it'll direct you to the Eventbrite to purchase tickets. And yeah. I don't know if people need to email me.
Oh yeah, okay. No.
But the festival has a website.
Okay, yeah. That's more so the question. I'm sorry, we don't want them. Yeah, you don't want to be dealing with that. Yeah, but no, this is dope. Like I said, I can't wait. Y'all want to get those dates out again and times?
So June 28th, you can see the Lancaster documentary at Phoenix Solstice Film Festival. And I'll let Britney handle the rest of it.
I can't wait, man. I can't wait. I feel like we're leaving out something. I just can't think of what we might be leaving out. I'm trying to
thank Coach Lancaster, pretty much. That's what this film is. Just
it's about history. It's about resolution individually. It's about timing, as Britney so eloquently put it.
Yeah, she laid it out.
Rising out of the ashes, the phoenix. And that's what we do in our lives individually.
Yep.
We
Every day.
rise out of the ashes. And it's not easy. You know, I could tell stories about injustices that have happened on both sides of the coin.
Yeah.
I could tell you about those who have helped us individually and collectively on both sides of the coin, probably the opposite coin, even more so than the ab coin. It's just a way of life where you think there are those who don't care, who really do care, and you would think that there are those who should care, but don't care. And so it brings us all together collectively with different views, different upbringings, getting help from above. And wherever above is, that's where it is. Amen?
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you.
No, thank you guys. I'm just kind of like, I'm kind of speechless because, like, when I set out to do this podcast, I didn't know where it was going to go. I really don't. You don't know what type of people, who you want to come across, what their intentions are. And I just say that I guess I'm blessed in a sense because I'm meeting so many great people and the backgrounds. Like, I didn't know Britney at all. I mean, you know, just to get a I think you DM'd me and reached out. I said I'd reach out, and you know, with everything I got going on, my mind is in like 25 different places. More so now, so then when I first started this thing, when I was like dying to get people to call me and just like, yo, hey man, you know, we come over here and do this, and then they criticize some of the people who I had. They didn't think they were qualified, but it's just to get content, right? You know, and now we're here. And like I said, Nick, you know, was one of the people that reached out to me. I was like, I ain't done nothing. Why I need to be interviewed? So to be at this point, to be able to have a platform for you guys to be able to promote what you got going on, I just want to just say thank y'all for choosing me, because y'all could have went anywhere. I mean, y'all could have just, you know, went live and did it, but to do it here, and I want to just be able to help y'all any way I can to promote this thing. Because whatever y'all need from me, I'll use my resources.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The chosen one. You are the chosen one. Thank you.
I gotta learn how to accept that, because I don't know how to accept
It's true. It's true.
that.
Don't worry, I don't know how to really accept it.
You will, trust me.
I don't.
You will.
I don't know how to.
You will, because her dad tells me that all the time. Like, he sees me, and I had to get used to him because he's a jokester. And I remember one day he set me in the gym during a tournament, and I was supposed to come see a player, and he told me sit right here beside him in the gym because he was like working the door. And I sat right there for the rest of the tournament, and we talked and we joked, and he asked me all these questions about how I got started. So then now when I come over to the football games, then he's at the back gate, and he come to me and he'll say, hey, do you know Lee? And no matter who it is, every week I'm coming to the game. And, you know, he a legend right here. I said, Coach, stop. Why you doing that? And he'll just come up with something crazy and mess with me. And he'd be like, no, man. He said, he thanked me for appreciating doing what I'm doing. And I have a hard time accepting that because I don't know what to say. I just felt like that y'all need to be celebrated, just not me. You know, and I just say, I don't think Dr. O, you know, think Rick Stockel, Garrett, Kelvin Oliver, those guys who gave me up. Harry Lee Daniel, who I talked to, I can't think of how many times I talked to Harry Lee throughout the day. One of your former players.
Oh, well, I'm going to tell you something, man. We all wash our hands in the same sink, under the same water. That which makes us different is what we do for the other people's hands. Do we wash ours, or we didn't wash other people's? And so we collectively become, that's how the nation became great. It didn't come by one person doing anything. And the nation came great with a collectiveness of people who did their jobs correctly. And they did it together. And that's why it is a great nation. That's why it is. And it'll continue to be a great nation as long as we don't divide ourselves, separate ourselves. We got to do it collectively.
Yeah.
Got to do it together.
I agree. Anybody, any shout outs before we go?
I gotta thank Coach Tennyson actually, because Coach Tennyson, I know there are times like, oh, do I gotta let this kid in the gym?
Man, he funny, man.
Coach Tennyson, man, he really helped me out, and I really appreciate the person that he is. Yeah, I always got to show love to him.
Always.
Shout out to the people that were just wanted to be interviewed. All the people I interviewed,
Yes.
I have to thank y'all for giving me y'all time, even if it was only for like 10, 15 minutes, man. Y'all really gave up y'all time for me to do something special. And I love that. Like I actually can't thank enough people.
Yeah. So don't get mad and be DMing me saying, why he ain't shout me out, all that other stuff. You'll get your opportunity for that, because, I'm joking, but I'm dead serious. But y'all know if y'all want to reach out, like I said, y'all know how to reach out to people and stuff like that, man. Please come out and support this cause, this film, man. This is important. Like Britney said, man, it's about community, and you guys can go out here and purchase a ticket. We're gonna have all that information here. Even if y'all don't see it, if it flashes, if it's not up there long enough, just contact me. And I'll get you the information. I'll just DM the information right to you guys. I'll make sure I do that. So we'll get you done. We don't want Brittany, she got other things to worry about. Nick got other things to worry about. Just DM me and we'll make sure we get the information out to you. Don't be lazy. Look it up. But if you can't find it, I'll make sure you get it. And if y'all ain't got no shout outs, we're going to just go ahead and end it like that. I got shout outs.
Well, thank you all, right? Shout out to the three of you. Yes. Thank you for allowing your story to be told. Thank you for telling the story.
Yes,
Thank you for the platform to spread the message.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me on this show. And thank you to, where's my camera? Is this thing?
Yep.
All right.
Number one.
So thank you to everyone that's contributed to this process. There has been a lot of behind the scenes work, especially the filmmakers. I appreciate you so much. So yeah, thank you to my community. Well.
And thank you for coming out here the last minute as I pulled you up in here. I know you want to be a part of it. I say, no, you got to come out here to this. So thank you. But appreciate everyone. Thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure y'all like, subscribe. Y'all know what to do. And we are out. I appreciate y'all watching the episode again today, y'all. Go over, make sure that y'all check out my man, rickstockel.com for any of your home buying needs. Appreciate it. Thanks again.